The rain hammered the roof like it was trying to drown out the silence in our house. But it couldn't touch the storm raging inside me. I stared at my father's slumped shoulders in the dim kitchen light, his untouched coffee gone cold, and whispered into my phone, "Brandon, you gotta come." He's slipping away, and I don't know how to pull him back. Little did I know, that call wouldn't save Dad. It would shatter the walls I'd built around my own heart, forcing me to face the truth I buried deeper than his grief. My name's Benjamin Hayes, and at 25, I was still crashing in the old family home in Elmwood, Ohio, a sleepy Midwest town where everyone knew your business but pretended not to. It had been 6 months since Mom's car accident, the kind of freak twist of fate that leaves you questioning if God's got a grudge. Dad, Robert Hayes, was a high school history teacher who'd always been the rock, barbecues on the 4th of July, coaching my little league team, quoting Lincoln like it was gospel. But grief had hollowed him out. He'd stopped grading papers, stopped shaving, stopped everything but staring at the walls like they held answers. I tried everything. Therapy sessions he bailed on after one. Fishing trips that ended with him silent in the boat. Even enlisting my sister, Emily, from her fancy job in Chicago. She'd fly in for weekends. But her pep talks bounced off him like rain on tin. I was drowning too, working dead-end shifts at the local hardware store, dodging questions from old high school buddies about why I hadn't settled down yet. They didn't know the half of it. I was gay, out to a few close folks, but not Dad. Not after the way he'd grumbled about those parades on the news. Timing felt impossible. That's when I thought of Brandon. We'd met freshman year at Ohio State, bonding over late-night cram sessions and a shared love for indie bands nobody else got. He was a golden boy, tousled blonde hair, easy laugh that cut through tension like a knife, majoring in social work because he actually believed he could fix broken people. We roomed together sophomore year, and yeah, there were moments brushing hands in the kitchen, lingering eye contact during movie nights that made my pulse race. But I shut it down. He was straight, or so I told myself, dating girls left and right. After graduation, we drifted but stayed in touch, birthday texts, the occasional beer when he was back from his job in Columbus. "Benji, you sound wrecked," he'd said on that rainy Thursday night, his voice crackling through the line. "Tell me what's up. It's Dad." He's not okay. Like, barely eating. Talks about Mom like she's in the next room. "I can't do this alone. Man, you're good at this stuff, people. Feelings. Could you come up? Just for the weekend." A pause. Then his sigh. "Won't like a hug." "Yeah, of course. I'll drive up tomorrow after work." "Hang in there." "Okay." Relief hit me like a wave. But underneath it, something twisted, a flicker of excitement that had nothing to do with Dad. I shoved it down. This was about family, not my stupid crush. Brandon rolled into Elmwood Friday evening, his beat-up Jeep kicking up gravel on our driveway. I met him at the door, and damn if he hadn't gotten better looking, sharper jaw, that same lopsided grin under a wool beanie pulled low against the chill. He pulled me into a bro hug, clapping my back hard enough to jolt me. "Jesus, Ben, you look like you haven't slept since Bush was president," he teased, stepping inside with a duffel slung over his shoulder. I laughed, too loud, guiding him to the living room where Dad sat in his recliner, TV flickering some old Western. "Dad, this is Brandon, my buddy from college. He's in a crash here a couple days. Help out around the place." Dad glanced up, eyes dull but polite. "Appreciate it, son." Benjamin here's been carrying the load. His voice was gravel, but there was a hint of warmth, the first I'd heard in weeks. Brandon shook his hand firmly. "No bullshit. Mr. Hayes, sir." Ben's told me a lot about you. History buff, right? I'm minored in it. Reconstruction era's my jam. That sparked something. Dad's brow lifted. Reconstruction? Hell, most kids think it started with Hamilton the musical. And just like that, they were off, debating tariffs and Friedman's Bureau over takeout pizza. I watched from the couch, nursing a beer, a knot loosening in my chest. Brandon had this gift. He listened, really listened, drawing Dad out without pushing. By bedtime, Dad was cracking jokes, even asking about Brandon's job at the crisis hotline. You ever deal with folks like me? Dad asked, voice low as we clear plates. Brandon met his gaze steady. All the time. Loss, it's hard, but talking it through, that's how you start climbing out. And hey, you got a good kid here watching your back. Dad clapped my shoulder, eyes misty. Yeah, don't know what I'd do without him. I floated to bed that night. The house quieter, but not empty. Brandon bunked in the guest room, Mom's old sewing space, still smelling faintly of lavender. I lay awake, replaying his laugh, the way his knee had brushed mine under the table. Stupid. Benjamin. Focus. Saturday dawned crisp, leaves crunching underfoot as we three hit the hardware store for supplies. Dad needed to fix the porch steps, a project he'd ignored since summer. I manned the register on my shift, stealing glances at them in the aisle, Brandon handing Dad a drill bit, both chuckling over some dumpon. My heart swelled, a mix of gratitude and that forbidden ache. Earth to Benji, my co-worker. Tina, snapped her gum. Your boy's cute. That the one you mooned over in college? Shut up, I muttered, cheeks burning. Tina knew, only one who did from back home. He's straight. And it's not like that. She smirked. Sure. Keep telling yourself that. By afternoon, we'd turned the backyard into a makeshift workshop. Dad hammered away, sweat beading on his forehead, while Brandon and I hauled lumber. The sun dipped low, painting everything gold, and for a second, it felt normal like before the accident, when life was barbecues and bad jokes. That night, after Dad turned in early, Brandon and I cracked open beers on the back porch, stars sharp overhead. Crickets hummed, the air thick with October chill. You're a miracle worker, I said, clinking bottles. He smiled today. Actually smiled. Brandon shrugged, but his eyes caught the porch light, warm and searching. Nah, you laid the groundwork. Ben, I just showed up, silent stretched, comfortable but charged. I wanted to say more, to thank him for being the friend who got it, who never judged my silences about guys or the way I'd ghosted dates after Mom died. Instead, I blurted, remember that road trip to Chicago? Sophomore year, you dragged me to that dive bar, and we ended up singing karaoke till 2 a.m. He laughed, head tipping back. God, yeah. You butchered Wonderwall. Thought I'd die. You weren't much better on Sweet Caroline. Our knees touched, and neither pulled away. The air hummed, like the moment before a storm breaks. Then he started, voice low. I've been thinking about you. A lot. Since college. My breath caught. Yeah. He set his beer down, turning to face me fully. His hand found mine. Tentative. Fingers lacing slow. More than friends. Always have. The world tilted. All those brushed off signals. The what-if side buried. They crashed over me. I leaned in, our lips meeting soft. Tentative. Like testing fragile ice. It wasn't fireworks. It was homecoming. His mouth tasting of hops and honesty. We broke apart gasping. Foreheads pressed. And in that heartbeat, everything shifted. But Elmwood wasn't Columbus. And Dad's grief was a live wire. Sunday morning hit like a freight train. I woke tangled in my sheets, replaying the kiss on loop, Brandon's stubble rough against my skin, his hand cupping my jaw like I was something precious. Downstairs, the smell of bacon snapped me back. Dad was at the stove, whistling off-key, a sight so foreign it bordered on surreal. "Mornin', son. Figured we'd make French toast. Your ma's recipe." He slid a plate my way, oblivious to the chaos in my head. Brandon shuffled in minutes later. Hair sleep must. Wearing my old Buckeyes hoodie. Our eyes locked across the table. A secret sparking between us. "Smells amazing. Mister." "Hayes," he said, voice steady as if he hadn't just rewritten my world. We spent the day easy, raking leaves into a bonfire pit. Dad regaling us with tales of his Vietnam protest days, stuff he'd never shared before. "Your mom dragged me to that march in '68, he said, poking the flames. Said if I loved her, I marched too. Damn fool. I was." Brandon nodded, eyes thoughtful. "Sounds like she knew how to light a fire under you." Dad chuckled, but his gaze lingered on us, sharpening. "You too. Close. Huh, like brothers almost." My fork froze midair. Brandon's foot nudged mine under the table. Reassurance. Not retreat. Best kind of friends, I managed. Heart pounding. By evening, as Brandon packed to head back to Columbus, the goodbye on the porch felt loaded. Dad had stepped inside for a call, leaving us alone in the fading light. "This isn't over," Brandon murmured, pulling me close for a quick, fierce hug. "We'll figure it out. Text me when you can." I nodded, throat tight. "Drive safe." He left, taillights fading down Maple Street, and the house echoed empty again. But not the same empty. I texted him that night, "Miss you already." His reply, ditto. "Talk soon." The next week blurred. Work. Dad's slow thaw. He even started jogging mornings, pounding pavement like he was outrunning ghosts. We didn't talk about Brandon much, but Dad mentioned him once. Good kid. Solid. You should visit him in the city sometime. If only he knew. Then the text with Brandon turned electric. Late night voice notes. His voice husky recounting his day, laced with "I wish you were here." Photos, him at a coffee shop. Caption thinking of that porch. Me, a selfie in the hardware aisle. "This hammer reminds me of your stubborn charm." It was innocent, exhilarating, falling without the crash. 2 weeks in, he invited me down for the weekend. "My roommate's out. We can talk properly." I hesitated. Dad was stabilizing, but leaving felt risky. I told him, broaching it over dinner. "Brandon's got this social work conference in Columbus. Mind if I crash there? Network a bit." Dad speared his meatloaf, considering. "Go. You've earned it. Just don't let him corrupt you with that city nonsense." I laughed it off, but the word stung. Corrupt. As if love was a vice. Columbus welcomed me with open arms, neon lights, the Scioto River glittering under bridges. Brandon's apartment was a third-floor walk-up in the short north, walls lined with protest posters and succulents thriving against odds. He greeted me with a grin and a kiss that deepened fast, hands roaming shirt sleeves, breaths mingling hot. We didn't rush to bed. That wasn't us. Instead, takeout tie on the couch, feet tangled, spilling secrets over pad CEW. I knew in college, he admitted, tracing my palm. "But you were so locked down, grief from your folks' fights." I figured. Didn't want to push. My parents, they were solid. I paused, fork hovering. Dad's the one who'd flip. He's old school Midwest. Gay marriage passed. Sure, but pride flags? Nah. Brandon's thumb stroked my knuckle. "And you?" Out to him. "Not yet." Feels like piling on. The admission hung heavy, but his nod No judgment lightened it. That night, we walked the bustling streets, hands brushing anonymous in the crowd. At a dive bar, he pulled me onto the dance floor during some indie set, body swaying close, his chin on my shoulder. This is us. Ben. Real. I believed him. Waking Sunday tangled in his sheets. Sunlight slanting through blinds. I felt seen whole. Back in Elmwood, the high lingered until Dad's question over breakfast. Have fun? Learn anything? Yeah. Met some folks in counseling. Eye-opening. Lies by omission. But they slid easy. He nodded, but his eyes narrowed. Brandon seems intense. You too okay? My gut twisted. Why wouldn't we be? Just watch yourself. Friends like that. Sometimes lines blur. The words landed like a slap. Did he suspect? I brushed it off, but doubt seeded. A month flew by in stolen weekends. Me driving to Columbus. Him sneaking up to Elmwood under guises of checking on your old man. Dad warmed to him more. Invited him to Thanksgiving planning. Even, bring that apple pie recipe your ma swore by, he'd say. But cracks showed. One night, post-dinner, Dad pulled me aside while Brandon washed dishes. He's a good guy, but you seem different. Distracted. I'm fine. Dad. Happy. Even. He gripped my arm. Eyes searching. Happy's good. Just don't lose yourself in it. Guilt gnawed. Our secret felt like a bomb, ticking louder. Then, the call that detonated everything. Mid-November, gray skies, threatening snow. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Brandon's name, but his voice shattered. Ben, I gotta tell you something. I bolted upright, heart slamming. What? You okay? A sob? Ragged. No. It's my ex, Jake. He showed up tonight, drunk, spilling everything. About us. To my neighbor, who knows your dad from that teacher's conference last year. The room spun. What? How? Jake's got a mouth. Saw us at the bar last weekend. Put two and two. The neighbor's chatty. Called your dad to warn him. Ben, he's gonna find out. Panic clawed my throat. Shit. Okay, I'll talk to him first. Make it right. But Brandon's voice broke again. There's more. Jake. He said stuff. About me cheating on him back in college. With a guy. It wasn't true. But your dad might. Stop. I know you. We'll handle it. Lies couldn't touch us. Right? I hung up, staring at the ceiling. Elmwood's quiet pressing in. Dawn crept. And with it, Dad's truck rumbling to life early, off to school. Routine unbroken. But when he returned that evening, face thunderous, I knew the storm had broken. Benjamin Robert Hayes, he growled, slamming the door. Sit down. Now, the kitchen light buzzed harsh overhead, casting shadows that made Dad's face look carved from stone. He paced. Flannel shirt rumpled from a day of lectures he probably half delivered, while I perched on a stool, palms slick against the counter. The air smelled of leftover chili. Comfort turned sour. Talk, he demanded, stopping dead, arms crossed like a barricade. That call from Columbus this morning, Mrs. Hargrove, teaches math at my school. Says she heard from a concerned friend that you're involved. With Brandon, my mouth went dry, words sticking like tar. Involved. Not gay, not lovers, but close enough to gut punch. Dad, it's not. Don't. He sliced a hand through the air, eyes blazing. She said you two were seen. Close. At some bar. Holding hands. Like you're one of those. Activists on TV. The word hung, laced with disdain. The same tone he'd used for news clips of Stonewall remembrances. I swallowed, forcing steel into my spine. It's true. Brandon and I. We're together. Silence exploded. His face drained white, then flushed red, veins bulging at his temples. Together? As in Jesus. Ben, tell me this is some phase. College experimentation gone wrong. It's not a phase. My voice cracked, but I held his gaze. I've known since high school. Hid it because I didn't want to disappoint you. Disappoint. He barked a laugh, bitter as black coffee. This is betrayal. After everything, your ma gone, me holding it together for you, and you pull this with a guy I trusted to help. The accusation stung deepest. I'd weaponized Brandon, turned our fragile thing into a lifeline for Dad, only for it to snap back. He did help. You're coming back, laughing, living. This isn't about that, isn't it? He leaned in, breath hot. He swoops in, plays hero, and now you're, what, parading around like it's normal? In my house. It's not a parade. Dad. It's love. The word escaped, raw and unfiltered, and for a split second, his fury flickered, hurt peeking through. Love. He spat it, stepping back like burnt. Your ma and I had love. Real, God-fearing kind. This, it's confusion. Sin, if you want to get biblical. The room tilted. Old Sunday school echoes clanging. I'd sat through those sermons, squirming in pews, praying the feelings away. Now, they roar back. You gonna quote Leviticus at me? After marching for civil rights. Preaching equality, that's different, he roared, slamming a fist on the counter. Plates rattled. This is personal. My son, throwing away his future for. For what? Stolen glances and regret. Tears burned my eyes, but I wouldn't let them fall. Not yet. Future? I'm 25. Dad. Working crap jobs. Hiding who I am. Brandon sees me. All of me. He deflated then, sinking into a chair, head in hands. I called him. After the tip. Told him to stay away. Said if he cared about you, he'd back off. You what? Horror iced my veins. My phone was upstairs. Silent. No texts. No calls. The betrayal cut double. Dad meddling. Brandon possibly folding. He's toxic. Ben. Preying on your vulnerability. Dad's voice softened. Pleading now. End it. For us. We can fix this. Therapy. Prayer groups. Get you straight. The word straight landed like a slap, straightening my resolve. I'm not broken. And neither is this. I stood, grabbing keys. I'm going to him. Benjamin. But I was out the door, tires screeching on wet pavement, Elmwood blurring into highway black. The drive to Columbus was a blur of wipers slapping rain. Radio static preaching some country ballad about lost love. By the time I pounded on Brandon's door, past midnight, my chest heaved with unshed sobs. He opened slow, face gaunt, eyes red-rimmed. Ben, God, I crashed into him, door slamming behind. He called you. What did he say? Brandon held me tight, trembling. The usual. I'm a predator, leading you astray. Said you'd thank him later for intervening. His voice muffled in my hair. I told him to go to hell. That I love you. The confession undid me. I pulled back, searching his face, open, aching. You do, since that damn road trip. More. He kissed me then, desperate, hands framing my face like a vow. We sank to the couch, whispers turning to plans. We'll talk to him together. Make him see. But dawn brought reality. My phone exploded, voicemails from Dad, escalating from worry to rage. Come home. We need to pray on this. Emily's texts. What the hell? Ben, Dad spiraling. Call me. I did. Curled on Brandon's bed while he made coffee. Ing. It's bad. He knows. About me and Brandon. A beat. Then her sigh, exasperated but kind. Finally, look, Dad's scared. Raised in the '70s Bible Belt. Remember? But he's not a monster. Give him time. Time? He banned Brandon from our lives. Stubborn mule. But he loves you. Fly out here, neutral ground. We'll mediate. The idea's stuck. Chicago, big city buffer. Emily's turf. Brandon drove me to the airport that afternoon. Our goodbye kiss lingering under fluorescent lights. Fight for us, he murmured. I will. Emily met my flight, hugging fierce in the terminal. Spill. Everything. Over deep dish pizza in her Wicker Park apartment. I did the grief, the call, the kiss, Dad's explosion. She listened. No interruptions. Then, you're brave. Ben. Owning this. Huge. Dad'll come around. He did with my divorce. But this isn't divorce. It's me. She squeezed my hand. Exactly. And you're his kid. Blood. We flew back to Ohio together. A united front. Dad picked us up at Cleveland Hopkins. Jaw set. But he hugged Emily tight. Nodded curtly at me. The drive home was thick silence. Radio filling gaps with classic rock. Dylan's The Times They Are A-Changin', ironic underscore. Thanksgiving loomed. A minefield. Emily orchestrated neutral dinner at a diner. No alcohol. No agendas. But en route, Dad pulled over on a rural stretch. Engine idling. Before we do this, he said, eyes on the dashboard, I owe you an apology. For the call. For assuming. I blinked. Stunned. Dad. No. Hear me. He turned. Face etched with lines I hadn't noticed. Grief's permanent mark. Your ma. She knew about you. Suspected. Anyway. Told me once. Rob, if Ben's happy, that's God's plan. I pushed it down. Feared losing you like her. The revelation cracked me open. Mom, my ally in silence. She never said. Didn't want to force it. He rubbed his neck. Awkward. Seeing you with him. It scared me. Change. After all this loss. It's not loss. Dad. It's gain. Emily chimed from the back. Ever the bridge. He nodded slow. Maybe. But I need time. To understand. It wasn't absolution. But a door cracked. At the diner. Over turkey melts. Conversation limped forward. Dad asked Brandon, invited last minute via Emily's text, about his family, conservative folks in Dayton, who'd cut him off when he came out at 20. Hurt like hell, Brandon said evenly. But you learn forgiveness starts with yourself. Dad absorbed it. For pausing. Fair. The meal ended uneasy, but intact. No blow-ups. No walkouts. As we parted, Dad shook Brandon's hand, firmer than before. Appreciate you coming. Outside, under sodium lamps. Brandon and I stole a moment by my car. Progress, he whispered, lips brushing my temple. Yeah, but doubt lingered. Dad's time felt conditional. Winter clamped down, snow blanketing Elmwood in white hush. Brandon and I navigated. Weekend getaways to Cleveland's Rock Hall. Quiet nights in Columbus cooking pasta. His head on my lap while I read aloud from Dad's old history books. Love deepened, roots digging past the fear. But secrets fester. One blustery January evening, Dad called me into the den. A faded photo album open on his lap. Mom at 20, radiant in a sundress. She wanted grandkids, he said softly. Natural ones. The subtext slammed home. Dad, hear me out. His eyes pleaded. Adoption. Surrogacy, fine. But this path, it's hard. For you. For any family. It's our path. Defiance edged my tone. And it's not set in stone. But erasing Brandon? No. He closed the album. Defeated. I love you. Ben. Always will. Just. Wish it was simpler. The plea echoed, a rift widening. I left, driving to Brandon's in a flurry, needing his steadiness. He held me as I vented, but his silence grew, uncharacteristic. What's wrong? I pressed, tracing his jaw. He pulled away, pacing the kitchen. Your dad's right. It's hard. And I haven't been fully honest. Ice flooded my veins. About Jake. His voice cracked. The cheating rumor? It wasn't total bullshit. Back in college, before we roomed, I hooked up with a guy while dating him. Nothing serious, but I hid it. Felt ashamed. The confession landed soft, but thorns dug in. Why tell me now? Because lies poison. In your dad's words, they stirred it up. I don't want to be that guy for you. I searched his face, vulnerable, raw. You're not. We all have pasts. Relief washed him, but the seed of doubt sprouted. What else hidden? February thawed slow. Mud season turning Elmwood's roads to slop, mirroring the mire in my head. Brandon's admission hung between us, not a deal breaker, but a bruise, tender under pressure. We talked it out over endless calls, his guilt from Bible-thumping parents, my own closet scars. We're building clean, he'd say, voice steady. No shadows. I clung to that, but Dad's quiet disapproval eroded ground. Dinners grew strained, his pointed silences when Brandon's name dropped, the way he'd changed channels from Modern Family reruns. Emily mediated via FaceTime. Her Chicago pep talks a lifeline. He's processing. Ben, give grace. Grace felt scarce when Dad's school hosted a family values assembly. Guest speaker from some conservative think tank railing against traditional erosion. He came home fired up, clipping articles from the local paper. The Rainbow Agenda. Threat to American family? I confronted him in the garage, amid oil stains and tool benches. This your way of understanding? He folded the paper deliberate, eyes weary. Just reading both sides. Son, sides? It's propaganda. Anger boiled over. You marching in '68, that was for equality. Now you're clipping hate. His jaw tightened. That was race. Civil rights. This. It's moral decay. The line drawn. I stormed out, texting Brandon, need you. Now. He arrived by dusk. Jeep headlights cutting fog. And we drove aimless, back roads to the quarry lake. Frozen over under a bruised sky. Parked on a shoulder. Engine off. We sat close. His arm around me. He's never going to get it, I muttered, head on his shoulder. Pushing me to choose. Brandon's fingers combed my hair. You already chose. Us. But doubt whispered, at what cost? Spring teased with crocuses pushing through frost. And with it, a fragile truce. Dad joined us for a Reds game in Cincinnati. Awkward cheers over hot dogs. His pat on my back during a home run, feeling like olive branch. Good day, he grunted on the drive home. Progress, inch by inch. Then, the high tide crashed. Late April. Brandon's promotion at the hotline meant more hours. Less weekends. It's temporary, he promised over a rushed lunch in Columbus. Means better pay. Maybe we save for a place. Together. The together thrilled. Visions of share mornings. No more sneaking. Yeah. Let's. But absence amplified cracks. Dad filled voids with subtle jabs. That boy's always working. Reliable men stick close. Or leaving focus on the family podcast queued on the shared computer. I pushed back less. Energy sapped. One night, post-shift at the hardware store, I found Dad in the living room. Album open again, this time. My baby photos. Remember when you wanted to be an astronaut? He said. Voice thick. Dreams like that. They need roots. Roots don't mean chains. Dad, weariness laced my words. He closed the book. Dismiss my boy. The one before all this. To this, me. Gay. In love. Hung unspoken. A chasm. May brought Emily's wedding. Small affair in Chicago. Her to a graphic designer named Alex. All tattoos and easy charm. We flew out. Dad in a rented suit. Me with Brandon as +1. A bold move. Emily had prepped. Neutral. Folks. Celebrate love. The ceremony was lakeside. Wind off Lake Michigan whipping veils. Vows exchanged under a floral arch. Watching Emily glow. Dad misty-eyed beside me. Hit hard. Love's universality. Undeniable. Reception buzzed. Open bar. Indie band crooning covers. Brandon and I danced slow under string lights. His hand warm at my waist. This could be us, he whispered. Across the floor, Dad watched, not scowling, but thoughtful. Later, he approached, beer in hand. You too. Look it out there. I froze. Brandon's grip tightening. Thanks. He shifted. Awkward. Your sister's happy. Deserves it. Maybe. You do too. The concession stunned. A crack in his armor. We talked then, halting, over cake, his fears of losing me to city lights, my ache for acceptance. I want both, I said. You. Him. Family. He nodded slow. Working on it. For your ma. Healing. Tentative. Back in Ohio. Momentum built. Dad asked about Brandon's job. Even suggested a fishing trip. All three of us. Clear the air. We went. Dawn on the Mahoning River. Rods casting lazy arcs. Conversation flowed easier. Politics, he grumbled at Trump nostalgia. Baseball, Brandon's a Guardians diehard. Life. You ever think about settling down here? Dad asked Brandon, reeling in a small mouth. Brandon glanced at me, sun glinting off water. If Ben's game. Build something real. Dad grunted approval, grudging. But there. My heart soared. June swelled humid. Fireflies lighting backyards like stars fallen low. We hosted a cookout, Emily and Alex driving in, neighbors milling with potato salad and sparklers. Dad manned the grill, apron smeared, laughing at Alex's vegan jabs. Brandon flipped burgers beside him. Banter easy, two men bonding over charm marks. As dusk fell, I pulled Brandon aside to the porch swing, crickets chorusing. This is it, I murmured, his hand in mine. Normal. Good. He kissed my knuckles. Ours. But fate's a cruel editor. That night, post-party cleanup, Dad collapsed in the kitchen, clutching his chest. Face ashen. Ben. Call. Ambulance wailed. ER lights stark. Heart attack, mild. Doc said, but a wake up. I sat vigil. Brandon's hand in mine. Emily on the first flight. Dad woke groggy. Monitors beeping steady. You scared us, I whispered. Throat tight. His grip weak on mine. Needed a nudge. Seeing you. With him. In the chaos. Made me think. What if I miss it all? Tears spilled. You won't. Over recovery weeks. Nitrates. Cardiac rehab. Barriers crumbled. Dad asked questions about coming out. Pride. Our plans. Listened. Really listened. No sermons. Your ma be proud, he said one evening. Post-therapy walk. Of your courage. Brandon visited daily. Bringing books. Bad jokes. We're in this, he'd say, and Dad'd nod, accepting. By August, Dad was home. Stronger. Grilling again. Brandon moved in weekends. Testing waters. We talked future, my applying to social work programs. His musing a Columbus branch for the hotline. Dad even joined a PFLAG meeting. reluctant, but went. For you, he said. One crisp fall evening, 6 months from that rainy call, we three sat on the porch, beers in hand, leaves swirling. Dad raised his bottle. To family. However it looks, we clinked, the sound ringing true. What started as a plea for help had rewritten us, grief transmuted to grace, secrets to strength. Love, it turned out, wasn't a storm to weather, but the anchor in it. And in Brandon's quiet smile beside me, I found my forever.